Right, hello, and we've got Fiona Ryder here with us to give us a talk on Raj Yoga Meditation. So this is the 11th episode, I believe, of the Mind and Body Wellness Alive Health Talks, and we're super excited to have Fiona. She's one of our early volunteers. She jumped on board quite quickly, wanting to be part of thriving communities, and in particular the Mind and Body Wellness Program. And she's a very gifted meditation teacher. She's also a homeopath, and she makes these incredible energy balls, we call them, using sort of all natural ingredients and dates, to sweeten it, to stop that sugar craving, really, and give us a little bit of spurt of energy when we do our yoga exercises. So I'm really, really happy that she's here to join us, and it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for coming and sharing your insights into Raj Yoga meditation for us.
Thank you, Esther. So, what we always say to start classes, and it's actually also a greeting, is Om Shanti. So this is what is.
Oh, I forgot to say, Fiona, you asked me to lead in with an introduction because I mean, the reason why you came to Raj Yoga meditation, sorry to interrupt you there, was that you were seeking lots of answers to
Yeah.
various different types of questions in regarding life in general. And we're searching and searching, and really, Raj Yoga provided those answers for you, and that's why you've got into Raj Yoga meditation.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
thank you. Sorry for interrupting, but I thought I forgot to say that.
Thank you. Yeah. So this on the badge here it says Om Shanti. So these are really key words in Raj Yoga. It's like the first and the last lesson, and it means Om means I, the soul. Shanti means peace. So it's very simple, like that's it in a nutshell, really. But to actually become the embodiment of that, then that is the whole journey. And so Raj Yoga is actually a body of knowledge that we study, and it's also a meditation practice, or we call it yoga. So there's knowledge and yoga, and these are like two wings, really. It's like you can't have one without the other. To fly, you need both. Um, and so yes, so this idea of the soul being peaceful it's the essence of the knowledge, and it's also the essence of the meditation practice. So we understand the word yoga to mean connection, or union. So we use it in a different way in the West, don't we? We all automatically associate it with postures, with the physical yoga, but the original meaning is actually union or connection. And Raj Yoga then is the union or connection of the soul with the divine, with the source of all truth. So making that link, and then nurturing that link as well through meditation. So I thought I would just share a picture, actually, see if I can do this. It's just to give a bit of an idea um, about the cycle. So I won't spend too long on this, but it's just to give a context, really. The understanding in Raj Yoga is that time is cyclic. I think this is generally in Hinduism, this idea is prevalent, that time is cyclic, and so we're at a transition time now in the cycle between the Iron Age and the Satyug, the Golden Age. So it's kind of we need to know that, really, to understand where Raj Yoga is coming from. So this is the context, and so you see from that picture there are some figures there. So they're the prophet souls, or the messenger souls, who come with a pure message at various points in history. And they have an important message, a very pure message. at each point of time. But the time that we're at now, this transition time, is quite unique, and it's a time to awaken the soul. So it's a very specific goal, if you like, that Raj Yoga has, to awaken the soul awareness that we've lost. So humanity in general has kind of lost its way, even though there have been these messengers throughout history. The messages have become confused in the different religions. They've become fragmented, shall we say. And so at this point in time, at this transition point, we need knowledge. So it's not a religion, although it is about the soul, it is about the divine, but it's not a religion. It's knowledge, it's a study. So it's to gain an understanding. And then that understanding will hopefully then enable us to change. So it's very much about transformation. Raj Yoga is definitely about transforming the self from body conscious to soul conscious. So I don't know if you've come across these terms before of soul consciousness and body consciousness, but we tend to, in our modern world, generally, whichever country, whichever culture, this body consciousness has become prevalent. This idea that I am this body, this physical being, has become dominant, where Raj Yoga is telling us that it's the soul, we are the soul, we're not the body, actually. So the body is a costume, it's a secondary identity, but we are the soul, we're the inner being. And this is takes a lot of it's a very simple idea, but to unlearn all the body consciousness takes some doing. It takes some determination and some attention, really. It's so it's developing this awareness. It's like completely shifting our awareness from body conscious to soul conscious. And yeah, is that clear so far?
Clear for me, Fiona, but let's invite some of the others to comment.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer questions as we go along, or save them up for the end.
I think it's beautifully clear what you're expressing, Fiona, and it touches me deeply that I find the exact same intrinsic message in Sri Ravi Shankar, the founder of the Art of Living, as you know, in his teaching, exactly the same. And then there's friends of mine that I meet with almost daily for a little bit to pray for a bunch of people. And they have a Christian teaching called A Course in Miracles. And it's exactly the same teaching. It's just there's a sort of almost a crescendo of effort going on that you're referring to, that Raj Yoga is very significant part of. So thank you.
Yeah, so Raj Yoga, the perspective, it's like the essence of all the scriptures, but in many cases that has got lost. That essence it needs awakening, and as you say, Paul, it is awakening in you're seeing signs of it awakening in many different ways. But this knowledge I find particularly clear and empowering, because it can slip from the awareness. It can easily slip because we're surrounded by this body consciousness, and and it's so subtle. Soul consciousness is very subtle. So we need constant attention, constant study to really keep that focus on the soul. And so what is the soul then? So the understanding is that it's the inner being, it's the life force, the consciousness that is the soul. So it's not that I have a soul somewhere. This is how I used to think before I came to this knowledge. I was aware I had a soul, but I didn't really know what it was or where it was or exactly what it was. But Raj Yoga says, no, you are the soul. So the mind, the intellect, the personality, these are all aspects of the soul. This is the inner being. And we are that. And that is indestructible. It's eternal. It's a point of light energy. So located here in the center brain, between and behind the eyes. That's where the soul is located in the body. And so this is enormously useful information to know that we are the soul. And the more my experience has been, the more I identify with myself as soul, it's like you lose the fear that goes with thinking that you are the body. There's insecurity attached to thinking you're the body, because obviously the body is perishable. And so there's this the ultimate fear, isn't it, is of death. You know, that ultimately that's what happens for all of us. But if I identify as soul, it's like that fear just fades away, and I don't feel that insecurity so much, or if at all. And yeah, so Raj Yoga then it's like a battery. The soul battery needs recharging, and as we become more aware of ourselves as soul, then we also need the information of what happens to the soul in the cycle of time. That the soul starts out in a state of purity, and then it loses that purity very, very gradually, imperceptibly is losing purity and losing happiness, because the two are connected. And we very, very slowly come down into the Iron Age, to this point in time, to where we understand we're at the end of the Iron Age. And so the soul needs to recharge with that energy of purity, and also called self-sovereignty. And I think, Paul, you were asking recently about mastery. So it's, again, there's a parallel there, self-sovereignty and mastery, that the soul is innately strong, very, very strong, and secure, dignified in itself when it's in its right consciousness. But that we lose that, and then so sorrow creeps in, and insecurity creeps in, and the vices. Very key kind of information is about the vices, how they creep in. And I think in Sikhism they're known as the thieves, the five thieves, and we call them, well, we don't call them thieves. Sometimes it comes described in that way, actually. But so what they are is greed, ego, lust, anger, and attachment. These are the five vices, which kind of infiltrate into the soul through this insecurity of body consciousness. And so we're at the same time, we're trying to cleanse those energies out of the soul, and also relearn or re-energize with the power, the natural innate power of the soul. So that is purity, peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. These are all natural in the soul. Is it okay so far? Are we all clear?
Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
So at this point in time, because it's the end of the cycle and souls are depleted in a depleted state, this is why we're seeing so much unhappiness, so much conflict, so much illness. It's because there's the law of karma is playing out, and as the soul becomes weak, it's like we don't have clear judgment in terms of what is good for the soul and what isn't good for the soul. And so we slip into a negative karmic account, which is quite confusing. It's difficult to see how we got there and why things are the way they are. And for each of us, that karmic account is different. It can take many forms. It could be health, or it could be finances, or it could be relationships, or it could be all of those things. And people can be really struggling if they have karmic accounts in all of those different areas. But we can, so through meditation, through this cleansing, we can begin to create a good karma. So it's like the negative karma can be cleared, and we can start to build good karma. And as we build good karma and as we understand more clearly, then that natural happiness returns. It's like a very deep, it's our truth. Actually, happiness is our truth, which is why I love this thriving communities, because the focus is happiness, isn't it? In all the different activities, it's happiness, and that is natural to us. And we're all looking for that, aren't we? We all look for it sometimes in unhelpful ways. Sometimes in ways that, even holidays, we're looking for happiness, aren't we? But how often are holidays, how often do they end up as actually quite stressful to get places, and then to adjust to a new place, and then come back and try and get back into your day to day. It's all quite stressful, isn't it? And in the pursuit of happiness, but also, other things like relationships. Sometimes, the way we address relationships turns out to be a sorrowful experience. And then, of course, there's the drugs and alcohol, which is, it's just the soul looking for happiness at the end of the day, isn't it? And so there is a natural happiness, an innate happiness that we can tap into and awaken. Raj Yoga is very much about awakening, and that's why there is never a charge for any of the courses or classes in Raj Yoga with the Brahma Kumaris, because it's like people already know this. They already have the memory in them of everything that Raj Yoga is teaching, and so you can't charge somebody for something that they already have. This is the thinking. It's like it's already there. It just needs awakening. And so, the soul and God. So what is God then? So this is very much in a nutshell, this session. I've been 30 years studying this and still I'm learning. So, but in a nutshell, the difference between soul and God is that, so we understand God to be a soul, just as we are souls, but a soul that never takes a body, never comes into the physical, the impurity and the imperfection of the physical dimension, has no ego, and has never comes into vice or ego. So is a unique being and a uniquely powerful being for us to connect with, to help us to gain that power, to come out of this confusion that we get into, this confusion of thinking that we are the body. Yeah, and so the more we address these vices, and particularly subtle, I would say, is the vice of attachment. The others are kind of more obvious. Greed, ego, lust, anger are more obvious. But the one for me, anyway, that's been the hardest to understand, and I think as females, we probably are more affected by this vice than the males. Males have the other issues, but for females, it's attachment is the thing that it's, if you like, it's our downfall. And it's been a very, very interesting learning for me to understand about what is love and what is attachment and what's the difference between those two things. And it's ongoing, I would say. It's so deep, but so useful to look at and understand. And
Fiona, can I ask you, so what does attachment mean for you? What does it symbolize for you?
so it's like possessiveness, you could say, or it's actually a selfish energy. So obviously a mother and a child is a different, in English we don't have the words, which is partly why it's difficult for us in the West, I think. There isn't that vocabulary. So a mother-child bond, dependency, that is a healthy thing. That needs to happen for the child to grow. But so the unhelpful, the vice form of attachment is a possessiveness, and it's coming from selfishness. It's I want or I need, and where love is a giving energy. It's I am full in myself, and I'm sharing that fullness with others. And it's very different. It looks very different. Those two things are experienced very differently, and attachment will create tension in a relationship because it manifests as expectations, and those expectations then are felt as pressure or tension. And I would say is probably the cause of a lot of breakups and unhappiness in relationships. And we're seeing that as a pandemic, aren't we, well, not just in the West, but I would say everywhere. This is something to be understood, really.
I think you beautifully explained the difference between love and attachment, and really liked it. Love is more, when you're contented, fully contented, and you're come from a different space of giving. Whereas attachment, when you're in that attachment mode, you are, you're more attached to the person. And at that point, you may start expecting from that person more. And yes, that can end in with a misery and tension and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's coming from fear, isn't it? Attachment is
Yes.
a fear-based emotion.
Yeah.
And fear is not love. It's
Yes. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. That's really good. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's again, I think as Paul was saying, yeah, different, whatever studies, when you study between mind, body, and soul, yeah, in different studies, ultimately it's a journey to the soul. Yeah, we start with the body and then, it's the journey to the soul. And when you are in that space of soul, that space of consciousness, then obviously there is no pain, there is no fear, and it's a energy of bliss. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's amazing. Right now, I'll just share my personal experience. I'm suffering with this bad back for nearly 3-4 weeks now, and that it's again a journey for me to experience that how you can detach from the body, and then the more I detach myself from the body and get into that space of soul, that bliss energy, my pain is less at the body level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard so many express that same thing.
Yeah, yeah. And the best, I like, when I just lie down, put a body scan meditation, yoga nidra, and, it really helps to detach myself from the body. And there is no pain, then, I feel so blissful in that space. Yeah.
Is the meaning of Shavasana, in the yoga that at the end they have
Shavasana. Yeah.
that, isn't that like being beyond the body, like
Yeah. Shavasana means a dead man pose.
yes,
Shav,
dead man.
dead man. Yeah. So when you are in that, dead man pose, yeah, there is no body there. And you get that, yeah, it's like a soul blissful feeling. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Thank you, Fiona, for bringing this topic on. Yeah. But yeah, you can continue. Yeah.
An aspect of attachment that you've just beautifully brought up there, Mamit, is that one aspect of attachment and the way it really bedevils and dogs people is that whatever is our recurrent, typical pain and suffering, whatever it is that's coming up for us, we attach to it. And then when some messenger of some kind comes to us, or some message of some kind to us saying, actually, what you are is peace, what you are is love.
Yes.
Then the natural, the sort of instinctive reaction to that is, no, I'm this pain, I'm this misery,
Yes.
I'm this recurrent.
Yeah. The more I attach myself to this body pain, the more it's difficult to get out of it.
Yeah.
The more I put myself in that relaxation mode, the more easy to, get out of that pain. And the more I feel, that this pain is just, at the body level, it's not at the mind or soul level. And I feel more relaxed, more relieved from that suffering. Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it, that the word vice has that double meaning in English. I don't know in Hindi if it's the same, but like a tool, a vice is something that really holds something so tight. Yeah, like a vice-like grip, they say, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a coincidence that it's the
Yeah.
same word.
At the mind level, sometimes we hold on to the things so much. Yeah. And yeah, when we start letting go, and yeah, you experience that blissful journey, you experience that bliss. It doesn't matter how badly you're suffering. Once you start letting go, yeah, things change. Yeah. Oh my God. It's amazing
Yes,
to hear
definitely.
this journey. Yeah. Oh, Len, you're saying something? Yeah. Is this Len? Len, would you like to share something? Yeah.
Not really sharing anything, but what you're saying there is resonating with me,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can, you let go, you feel much more peace. Obviously, I'm only just starting with meditation, so I'm perhaps at the early, obviously, like Fiona said, she's been studying this for 30 years,
Yeah.
Perhaps I'm at the beginning of a journey,
Yeah.
But when Fiona says like Raj Yoga, your soul battery and needing recharging and you're awakening,
Yes.
that sort of, stuck with me.
Yes.
But yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, but I think, Lynn, you're on a beautiful journey of exploring this.
Yeah. Yes.
It's every time, it's like, it's a wonder. Wow.
Yes. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Much, yeah. Mm. Christine, would you like to share anything? Your thoughts? Maybe Esther, how about you? Yeah.
I think it is interesting because attachment is all about the external focus, and coming back to the inner realm helps us with this disengagement, this letting go of the attachment, and we do it so with meditation, with the breath work, it really becomes an inward journey. Then become this more self-aware, sort of soul aware that Fiona was on about, and the power that resides within us to find our own calm and happiness, and not be dependent on external sources of that. So and it's just a total flipping of the coin, if you like, and that's probably the most radical transformation people can undergo, is that inward focus rather than the outward focus. That really out focus is obviously the physical, that tendency of the human body, and the ego mind, rather than the spirit or the soul within. But it's interesting you say that it resides here, but obviously that's just an energy center. It's not actually a physical, if I understand it correctly. It's not a physical location as such.
We understand it to be a form of light, an entity, but not visible. It's a light source that is beyond the perception of the physical eyes. But nonetheless, it's considered to be light.
Okay.
A point
of light. Yes. Yeah. So supreme energy, isn't it, of light? Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the way how you understand it. Yeah. Because my understanding from soul or bigger consciousness is like, one, we are at the body level, and then mind is much bigger than the body. And then obviously, this soul energy or bigger soul is a part of a bigger consciousness. That's how I see it. Yeah. But obviously at some point, when you have to understand what soul is, I think that's a good way to explain. Yeah. It's like a light focus and all that. Yeah. What Fiona was saying. Yeah.
Non-physical.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. But
sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'll let you finish, Mummy. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's all I was saying, that, like we are a soul, but again, this soul is, I feel soul is like an energy. We see at an energy level. So we are a part of a bigger consciousness or a bigger energy. And and at soul level, we all are, we all are same. Yeah. At the body level, we all are different, physical level. But when we see from that space of energy or space of soul, it's everything is same. Yeah, it's the same energy between you, me, everywhere. Yeah. It's just
at the same time, each soul has a uniqueness to it, so a unique balance of qualities and virtues and powers. Although we are all soul, which is a mind, intellect, personality, there's infinite variety within that. How we express.
It's how you nurture your soul. It depends on how you nurture your soul. Yeah, what kind of, again, meditation is a food for soul. The more you practice it, the more you're giving good food to your soul, and the more that good qualities or good karmas are happening through you. Yeah. So, yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Would you like to play the commentary at this point, and then?
Yeah.
That's for me to share now, Fiona, yeah?
Yes, that's okay.
The
Yeah.
link you've given me. Okay. Let me just load it up. Sorry, I was just getting it ready.
Tired of seeing a blurred reality? Try these self-adjustable glasses that are taking the world. Which means you won't have to visit. Means you won't.
Need deep rest for physical vitality. On a soul level, one of the best things we can do to deepen our sense of well-being and spiritual health is to give ourselves spaces where we feel a sense of deep rest. Slow, deep breaths. Allow the breath to move fluidly in and out. And prepare now to travel to a space where you leave behind all beliefs, experiences, all the stories going on around you. You turn your back on them in this moment, and you enter a space of pure, absolute stillness. A beautiful sanctuary of light. In this space, you can feel your purity and innocence. It's as if nothing has ever happened to you. Your mind is open, carefree, simple, quiet, easy. And you feel connected to the natural, nurturing energy, both within yourself and outside of yourself. See yourself on the edge of a beautiful body of water. And with that feeling of lightness and ease, you just enter even more deeply into silence, observing the beauty of the sky, the water. Your mind is clean, clear, and so you take it all in. And you know somewhere deep inside that beauty you see in the sky, in the water, in the world around you is also your beauty. And you enjoy that restful space of being beyond all stories, untouched by the world, in a sanctuary of pure, restful silence. And in this moment, ask yourself a question. Who would you be if nothing had ever happened to you? Who would you be? Feel that sense of freedom, expansiveness, that simplicity that has exquisite beauty in it. And allow yourself to take rest from the story of you as you enjoy the pure, simple energy of simply being. We don't have to think of letting go of our beliefs and stories and dramas as something we have to do 24 hours a day. But if we can shed those for small moments, we can give the soul a feeling of deep rest that allows us to return to the world refreshed, recharged, and full of a natural sense of vitality. And it becomes easier and easier to live from that space of our true, innocent, pure spirit that is naturally free of all of those.
So those are a number of them to choose from if you want to explore. Release Your Wings guided meditations. It's a large selection, different topics.
That's beautiful. It's good to practice meditation,
Yes.
minutes a day more often. Yeah.
And I think breathing is good and yoga is good. And there are different things that we can do to help us let go of the consciousness of the body. But I think Raj Yoga, it's probably the most subtle and doesn't depend on anything or on what you're doing. It's a mastery of the mind that you can just switch into it.
Yeah. What I feel is yoga is obviously, as you said, in the Western world, we relate more to the postures and exercises and all that. So yoga is more at the body level. And, the breath is a connection between the body and the mind. And then obviously breath is with the help of breath, we can then certainly reach to the mind level. But ultimate goal is that experiencing that bliss, whatever way we experience that, then, so breath helps us to go to the experience a deep meditation. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't think without meditation I can't survive. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good to have points of the day to just stop, and because we quickly get caught up, don't we?
Yes. Yeah.
In what's going on,
Yeah.
especially this time of year.
Yes. Yeah. So it's just bringing yourself back to the source again and again. Yeah. That's so important. Yeah. I'm not just the body. I'm not just the mind. I'm more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that having that understanding of who we are and then aligning our life to that, it just brings such integration and coherence to be living from that place of spiritual truth.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're just getting buffeted, aren't we, by what's going on around us.
This science of spirituality should be on the medical curriculum. That's how I should feel when we study so much about the body, we study so much about the illnesses related to the body, and then we forget about the root cause of the illness. Yeah, it could be, more deeper at the mind level, your intellect level. So, yeah, our medical science, should include that. Science of spirituality, or we should treat the patients more in a holistic manner rather than just at the body level. Yeah, that's where I think we are missing.
Science doesn't even acknowledge soul, does it? It doesn't know what soul is, and
I
can't
think
measure it.
now,
Because
obviously, there are certain experiments I've done about with the soul and everything. Now that belief is coming, yes, soul is there, but yes, it's a lot more work need to be done, because when we are studying in the medical college, this medicine, there is no mention about connection between the body, mind, soul, nothing like that. You just study about the body, you just study about the various medicines, you just study about different organs. Yeah, no study about all this. But yeah, it should be in the curriculum at some point, Otherwise, yeah, so much of suffering. Yeah.
I think with the rise in mental health issues, I think that now is shifting, isn't it? Because they're obviously understanding that there are other causes, that the major causes of these physical ailments are connected to the mind and something behind the mind. So yeah,
I
that
think
we are
quantum
more than
physics,
just the body.
the experiments have been done in quantum physics, haven't they, where they can see that consciousness is primary over matter.
Yeah.
There's an experiment, double slit experiment. I've seen this on YouTube.
Yeah.
Where the apparatus will behave differently if there's a human being there present observing
The
the
observer
experiment.
effect, it's called. Yeah.
What is it called?
The observer effect.
Observer effect. Yeah.
You can collapse a wave into form. And that's the idea also. There's further experiments that, the same atom consists in two parallel universes. It's like, there is that in the same spot, there can be something physical. It's just crazy, isn't it? When you go into the quantum physics research. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I recently attended some yoga class or somebody by the senior teacher, and he mentioned about to watch this observer effect on the YouTube with regards to quantum physics. Yeah. Still, I haven't done that, but that's, something on my to-do list. Yeah. Yeah. About
It's like
learning.
a particle of light can behave like a wave or a particle depending on if it's being observed.
Yes. Yeah. 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 He said in a similar way. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you for
I
sharing.
had one last question, Fiona, because I don't know whether it's touched upon, because we talk about the demise of the physical form. So what does Raj Yoga say about, when our soul, obviously what happens when the physical element falls away and decays? What happens to the soul then? Where does it go, or where does it
Yes,
exist?
so reincarnation is very much part
It
of
is
this.
part of it. Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah, so there are this is obviously the concept of past lives comes into play then as well.
Yes, and so karma then would be passed from one life to the next, because it's recorded in the soul, so it gets transferred, and so that can make karma particularly difficult to understand, really, like why things are happening to you, because it could be something past life.
Yes. Yeah.
We need to understand and bear that in mind.
Yes. Yeah.
But meditation can still clear, even if it's something we don't understand where it's come from or why something is happening, we can still clear it. It's like we don't have to understand where it's come from, actually, even though we may want to.
Yeah. Amazing. Paul, would you like to add anything?
Not really. It's been a really great session, great discussion. Thanks, Fiona. The double slit experiment. It's when there's a human being involved, then the vibration becomes perceived as solid, and then it's at the same time still a vibration. It's really quite an amazing thing to see. I think that you're bringing to it what you said. A lot of people will see the double slit experiment there, and they will not perceive what you shared with us, Fiona, which is really going on, is that, like, you can see that there's this this space of beingness, out of which everything comes, which is the soul space, and in which everything is. And it's difficult to communicate. A very good job. Thank you.
It's a difficult topic, but yeah, it's well, Fiona, you explained it so nicely. Yeah, in your very calm, peaceful manner. We really enjoyed it. Yes. Yeah. And yeah, it's good to have such kind of discussions, and that really opens up, to a different space, to a different level. Yeah.
I remember Gurudev says somewhere about how we're like a tree in reverse. So the physical body, which we experience as primary in ignorance, in the ordinary natural state of ignorance, is actually not the roots and the trunk and it's actually the leaves on the tree. And the roots is of the whole thing, and the sap of the whole thing is the soul. So we're manifesting like the leaves and the twigs and little branches on the tree, but like the invisible greater part of ourselves is the interconnectedness that you were just expressing so well. So yeah.
So we need to nurture our soul, not the leaves and topic. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they take care of themselves. That's the remarkable thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's like sometimes in the study it says it's like we're dangling upside down.
Yeah.
We've got everything back to front.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
That's
really nice to connect with you.
yes. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Thank you, Fiona. It's
Thank
a
you.
lovely session. Yeah. Over to you, Esther.
Yeah, I want to say a heartfelt thanks. That was really, really a powerful talk, giving people lots of food for thought, I think. And definitely, if they've got any further questions, we'll leave some contact details so that they can reach out to you, Fiona, if that's okay, on the note sheets. Yeah. And I don't know whether any of our other participants here who on the live call want to ask any final questions. Anything?
Well, I actually need to go now.
You need to go, yeah, sorry. Well, they know where to reach you anyway. So thank you so much, Fiona, for sharing your precious time and your insights and your wonderful, soft, gentle wisdom. We really are such benefit greatly from that. And we are grateful to you to be a volunteer on a Mind and Wellness program as well. So Mind and Body Wellness. And yeah. So it's wonderful. And I've got a slight correction because it wasn't homeopathy, it was Naturopath. And I sound correct myself again. But probably you come back in the new year and give a talk on that as well, because I know you're keen to talk about your other skills and you've got so many to offer our community. And so on behalf of us all, thank you very much for joining us. And thank you everybody else who came on live and anybody else who's catching the replay on the recording. Thank you.